The darker meaning of Red Hot Chili Peppers' song Under the Bridge. Lead singer Anthony Kiedis wrote the song about his days as a heroin addict and the loneliness that went with it. The bridge mentioned in the song is a place where he sometimes went to buy drugs and get high. This was the biggest hit for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but it was not typical of their sound. This was a ballad, but most of their songs to that point were hard rock or funk. This was particularly challenging for Kiedis to sing during the Blood Sugar Sex Magik tour, but the Chili Peppers became comfortable with the sound and followed this up with more slower singles like Soul to Squeeze and Breaking the Girl. This song was originally just a poem that Kiedis wrote. He didn't write it for the Chili Peppers. It was a very personal poem that he thought he might use somewhere else. Producer Rick Rubin found it in one of his notebooks and told Anthony that it could be a great song. At first, he didn't want to sing it or share it with anyone, but he eventually came around. Robin recalled to Newsweek in a 2013 interview, "My thinking was that the Chili Peppers were not limited to being a funk band with rapping. And I remember Anthony was embarrassed to show the song to the other guys in the band. But he sang it to John, and John came up with his part. Then he played it for Flea, and Flea came up with his part. And it ended up being a really good song, even though they didn't realize how good it was until people started responding to it." The band got a headlining slot on the 1992 Lollapalooza tour when this became a hit. The gig greatly expanded their fan base and showcased their skills as a very energetic live band. The city of angels Anthony Kiedis sings about here is Los Angeles, where he lived since he was 12 years old. Much of the song deals with his relationship with the city. "It really repulses me these days," he told Goldmine in 1996. "Just sucking in that toxic cloud of hellish smog every day that I live, not a pleasant thought. But I do have a strong family tied to that city that I'll probably never be able to sever." Guitarist John's mother sang backup on this along with two of her friends from church. In his book Scar Tissue, Kiedis explained that he thought up the lyrics while he was driving from a session with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He was kind of sad because John Frusciante and Flea were getting closer as friends, and Anthony was set apart from that, due to the fact that he was deeply involved with drugs. That's why he wrote, "Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner." Kiedis also wrote of the song Under the Bridge. "I started freestyling some poetry in my car and putting the words to a melody and sang all the way down the freeway. When I got home, I got out my notebook and wrote the whole thing down in a song structure, even though it was meant to be a poem to deal with my own anguish." Before he left the band in May 1992, John Frusciante sometimes improvised intros and exaggerate his background vocals when performing the song live, as he was getting fed up with the song and with Kiedis. This is evident on their February 22, 1992 Saturday Night Live performance, when he clearly throws Kiedis off at the beginning of the song, then screams his backup vocals later in the song. Like and follow for more wild stories in rock music.